are now listening to the Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks podcast, where we bring you conversations with people connected to the Carolinas underground music scene. With your host, Mike Phillips of Van Huskins.
Hey
man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hold on a second. We can talk, but I'm gonna do a couple of things here just to make sure. Let's see, and just getting my levels good here. How you been doing?
I'm good. Just gearing up for the release. It's been I haven't put out something in almost a year, so it's a lot.
Yeah,
Takes a lot out of you. How about you?
Been doing good. Just working, and work's been slow lately, so it sucks. And just doing this. So
Sweet. That's pretty good though.
Have you gotten a chance to listen to the episode with Travis yet?
No, I haven't. I was going to on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. So you just graduated college this past or recently.
Yeah, in May I did. Yeah. And
Awesome.
This is where I attended the last few months of college, right in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. So
yeah. And we'll talk about that. I just kind of wanted to bring that up real quick. So we'll talk about that as part of the interview. So I want to go ahead and do the intro, and I'm talking to Matthew Estevez, or just Matt Estevez. What do you go by?
Whatever, my mom, when she's mad at me, she says Matthew, and some people call me hey shithead, so it's whatever you want to say, I'll respond.
Yeah, and I know Matt from the Gun and from the FUs. We played a show together right before you moved, or either maybe it had been after you went to school and you came back and played a show. I can't remember.
I think it was either the second to last show I played before moving off to college, or the last one. Because I know I wanted to play with you guys one more time. Yeah. Because I didn't know when I'd come back.
Yeah, and that was with Nerve Endings as well. That was a great show.
Yeah.
But so I know Matt from the Gun and from the FUs. And is that what you're calling your current project? Is it still the FUs, or are you doing it under your name or something?
Yeah, it's still the FUs. It's been that, ever since I started writing music. I was thinking about kind of just changing it, but I couldn't think of anything clever, so just kept it, and I wiped all of the music off of every platform so I can just start fresh.
Yeah, okay. And we'll get to all that as we go along. So you are a multi-instrumentalist, I know that. I think you recorded everything on the new album. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But how did you get started in music when you were a kid? Or how did you get interested in music, first of all? And then how did you get started playing music? What was your first instrument?
Oh, goodness. So according to my mom, she says that when I was in the womb, she was playing like Nirvana, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff. So if that is possible to influence me when I was inside her stomach, then that's where it started, I guess. Yeah. But my whole family was so into the Beatles, so that was like my first, just love for music, all that kind of stuff. And then growing up, learning new music, and then when the iPod came out, I'm like, holy shit, I can have so much music with me. Yeah. I didn't start playing music or wanting to play music until probably middle school, because my older brother is 2 years older than me. He played guitar, and I believe he did School of Rock, and he did some punk show, and I'm like, holy shit, punk is awesome. I want to do this. Yeah. So I so lame. I was playing Beatles Rock Band on the drums. Okay. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. So I went to my real drums, and I pretended that my real drums were the game as the game was playing. Yeah. And so I learned all the songs on Beatles Rock Band by just playing on the drums. Okay. So that's where it kind of grew. And then from there, I started playing and jamming with my brother, and he needed a drummer for his band, and started there, and it's kind of been ever since. It's just been a continuous grind. Yeah.
So I know there are a lot of people out there that think that Guitar Hero or Rock Band games are why don't you pick up a real instrument? Well, here's proof that it does sometimes lead to playing a real instrument, sometimes more than one real instrument.
Yeah, 100%. Especially the drums, it's all rhythmic. The guitar, I could see it's not really going anywhere, but drums, it was a legit drum set, so I just transferred it.
Yeah. So when you were a kid, what kind of music did you listen to? Were you always into stuff like Nirvana and the music mentioned that your mother listened to?
Yeah, as much as I can remember, I remember the first time I saw or heard a Foo Fighters song. I think I was in middle school. That's kind of where middle school was where I really just loved music.
Yeah, I think that's about the time it usually happens for most people, is right around, probably 6th grade. Because elementary school, I loved music when I was a kid, but I don't think I really loved music until I got to be just a couple of years older,
Yeah, same. And I mean, Foo Fighters really just kind of kickstarted just me wanting to do that. I saw a Pretender music video. I'm like, holy shit, this is kind of awesome. So yeah, other kind of influences, just the basics, just like Led Zeppelin, Beatles. The Black Eyed Peas have played a huge part in my music career. It's very weird to say, but
I wouldn't expect that, but
yeah, it's been weird. There's some kind of like weird ones. This girl Ingrid Michaelson, she plays this like ukulele, and she's taught me a lot about melodies and like kind of keeping things simple, and then mixing that influence with like System of a Down. It's just like, what the hell's happening here?
Okay, yeah. So you said you started playing drums, and then you started playing in a band with your brother. Was it a band, or was it just you and your brother jamming?
I believe it just started with me and him jamming, and then we kind of just, that like relative connection, I don't really know how to describe it. We kind of like just bounced off of each other pretty well. And then he was practicing with his friend, and I was just like, kind of just threw myself in there. I was like, I'm your drummer now. And so I just did what they wanted me to do. Wasn't that great. Had my first show with them at, don't remember where it was, Lunchbox Records. That's where it was. Yeah. In the alleyway there. So.
What was did you have a name for the band at the time? I guess if you played a show at Lunchbox, you had to have a name.
Yeah, so at that time they were called The Impediments, which I believe was some sort of like secret name for the Replacements back in the day, or the Ramones or something like that. Yeah. And then they turned into Sheep for some reason. Don't know. That's what they were called. I didn't have much to say, so yeah.
You sent me a song on through email. Is that a song from that band, or is that something from later?
That one's my favorite one. Still one of my favorite songs of all time. I believe that was in 2015 or 2014. So just kind of like getting out of high school, still just like exploring the sounds of music. Yeah. What did you do from there? I mean, how long did you play with them, and did that turn into anything else, or did you do anything else between that and From the Gun? So I think that recording that I sent you was the last show I played with them, and then they kind of found a new drummer, and then I was like, I was into a lot of punk. I was into really, really, really into System of a Down at the time, and Slipknot. So I was just like, I need to just go insane on drums. Like, I need to hit as hard as I can. And then I saw Travis posted on Facebook somewhere about From the Gun needing a bassist. Yeah. And I had listened to their music, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is awesome. So I learned all their music on bass. I was, I think, just about to turn 18. And I messaged him like, hey, can I try out? And so we set up a time for me to come over and play with the band. And the day of, he messaged me. He's like, hey, our drummer can't make it, or he quit, or something like that. And I'm like, well, surprise, I know the songs on drums too, because I've been playing along with them. So I went to their little practice house, and we ran through all of the songs, and they were like, didn't know how we would really do with the 18-year-old drummer, but here we are. Yeah. So I joined the band that day.
I know Travis said, when I talked to him, that before that even happened, that you and him had talked about, like, you were wanting to play drums. Or and it may have been bass or whatever before, but that at one point, everybody kind of felt like you were just too young.
Yeah, there was a little hesitance, just because they were like, you literally can't even get to some of the venues, so like, what's the point? Yeah. So I think I think we jammed a few times, and then after one of them, it's just like, hey, do you want to just like be the drummer, and we'll figure it out. And I mean, from there, I played my first out of state gig with them. I've hit as hard as I've ever fucking hit, and probably will ever hit.
Yeah, man,
you
speed
killed and everything. Man, it was just insane.
You just destroyed the drums when you played with them. It hurt to watch you play the drums sometimes. But that band, the whole band it was a very brutal sound. And so that fit very well. And while they, the drummers I had before you were good, and Fred Hutchinson is excellent drummer. I think what you did, and Fred was probably doing some of that already, but what you did and the way you really hit the drums, like really, it gave the live show like an extra kind of oomph to it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel like my age was like right when I was like super like freshly into punk and like metal and like actually discovering this stuff for the first time, and they were like in their 30s, I think, early 30s. I don't know their ages very well.
Mike in his 40s, so Travis in his 30s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like my like fresh just energy and just like unending adrenaline for that kind of music really just helped kickstart that shit back up.
Yeah. I remember I can't remember if we played the show or if I just came out to see you guys play at the station. I think it was the last show with From the Gun, right before you were getting ready to leave. I remember talking to you after the show because, like, after the show, you broke down and you were outside the rest of the night because you weren't old enough to really stay in the station. You were, they let you play because you were a part of the band. So that's changed since then, and I'm sure that's a welcome feeling to not have to head out as soon as you get finished playing. Yeah,
that was the thing. Like, even at Tommy's, at the old one, they let me stay because I've played a lot there. But I just like felt weird at a bar and like I couldn't really do anything or like hang out, so I just left.
Yeah,
I didn't want to stay around or like get the bartender in trouble or anything, so I just kind of bounced.
Yeah. How long did you play with From the Gun? Because that band ran its course pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, it felt like I played with them forever, but I think it was maybe a year, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't really know. The time's irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
But I think at least a year.
They'd been playing for maybe about a year before that, so about 2 years seems about right when I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Recorded twice with Brandon Hamby. Did you record? Yep. You recorded both of those, right? Or did you just record the second one?
I played both of them. I played bass on one of the songs. I think we only wrote one song together. Like all the songs that we played were their old stuff.
Yeah.
That I kind of just added. I wrote my own parts, but we only wrote one of the songs to Practice What You Preach, and I was just like, that's awesome. I wish we had written more.
Yeah.
What I'm going to
So while From the Gun was going on, were you still playing with your brother? I mean, because you and your brother were in the FUs together, correct? Or were you not?
No,
was it not a brother?
It was not a brother. Everyone thought we were brothers at the time. That was a friend. But my brother, I didn't. I think right when I joined From the Gun, I stopped playing with my brother, and they found a drummer.
That's right. You said
like fit their style more.
Yeah, you said they replaced you or found a replacement for you.
Yeah, but with the FUs, it was my baby, so I didn't want to perform unless I knew 1,000,000% that we could just knock it out of the park. And at the time, obviously not the best music, but I don't think we really had many shows. I was more focused on just building up like the repertoire and just writing the best music I can and growing as a writer. And then on the side, playing drums and like kind of getting that out. Yeah, the FUs was built of me and just two friends from high school, honestly.
Okay.
Dicking around.
And I know you said something about how you kind of wiped the slate clean with the FUs and took all the stuff offline. So that old stuff that you played with the band is not available online anymore?
I think it's on SoundCloud right now, and I might just keep it up there because not many people go there anyways. So it'll probably live on SoundCloud.
Because I'd like to play, at least a clip of a song from that.
Yeah.
And if it's on SoundCloud, I can still find it. But if not, if you want, like, to send me one or whatever. Because I remember when we played with you guys. I remember I liked it. I don't really remember what you sounded like. It's been so long ago. It's just hard to remember. But I do remember really digging it. So, but you said you kind of went in a different direction now.
Do you want a little something you can hide? I can get a little something. I'm calling deep inside. Yeah. Yes, you get a little nothing. You want it every night. There's nothing I can do. You really wanna die. You want to leave, but I can't help. You wanna leave, I can't help.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, it was not immature music, but the songwriting wasn't mature enough in terms of like structure and playing and like melody and stuff. It was kind of just like exactly what a 16, 17, 18-year-old would sound like in a studio.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, 4 years ago, I sounded nothing like this. So I just wanted this to be it, make it sound like it's a new band starting fresh. And I don't want people to look at what used to be. I want them to be like, this is it, and this is what it will be for the future. Yeah.
So that first incarnation of the FUs, when it was, you and your friends, and I guess you probably wrote all the music for that as well.
Yeah, so in all the recordings, I played everything.
Yeah.
I've never recorded. I've recorded one song with a drummer once, but everything else that was ever recorded, I played everything and wrote everything.
Yeah. But that was all leading up to you going away to school, and you were. I was getting ready to say you graduated. Like me and Travis were saying on the episode, it happened so fast. It seems like just a couple of years ago that you went away to school, but I guess it's been a while.
Yeah.
So you went to school, and it's Nashville, correct? Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
It's a music school. What was the name of it? Belmont?
Yeah, Belmont University.
Belmont University.
It's a private Christian school, and I'm Jewish, so it's like. It's been a little weird with that one.
but you went for music. I mean, I said it was a music school. I thought that you went to study music. Correct?
Yeah, it sounds weird, but I majored in songwriting and music business. I was the only rock songwriter there. Everyone else, obviously, country singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
So after my freshman year, like we would, during class, we would just play our music and like kind of critique it and like get all that stuff. And no one fucking liked rock music there.
Yeah.
They thought it was metal, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so loud." So, my entire Belmont career, I was like, "Okay, I'm going to see this as a challenge and just write like folky acoustic stuff and get good at that, and kind of learn more about structurally songwriting and like what makes other people tick and what other people write and how other people write, and then at the same time, kind of by myself, use that for my personal rock stuff and not show all these like scary white people that are afraid of rock music." So yeah, it was weird.
So did you do a lot of playing with other people in the school? Like, have you done a lot of different projects while you've been there?
Yes, I So my freshman year, I think about a month into school, I played on my first session for someone else. It was so there's audio engineers that major there,
Yeah.
and there's 3 studios, and for the projects they have to record a full song and mix it, blah blah blah. And I just played. There's all usually just cover songs. So
Yeah.
I don't remember what song. I think it was "Don't Fear the Reaper" or something like that. And I just played drums because someone needed a drummer, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. So after that, I kind of like I learned what a studio musician was, and I wanted to do that just to learn more. So I think in total, I've drummed for at least 100, maybe 200 different sessions throughout college.
Yeah.
Just for drums. I played guitar in a few, sang a few, played bass for a good amount, and then just played my own stuff kind of just here and there.
Yeah.
It was just, I saw college more as just growing instead of kind of like forcing my music down people's throat, which is what everyone did. So I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah. And that's a lot of good experience too, like to be able to do that. And was it most of that like just you were sort of like a hired gun where somebody else had written the music, or did you collaborate on any of that where you helped write some of that stuff?
It was kind of a mix of both. A lot of the sessions for school were just cover songs that like because it's a religious university that you don't have much wiggle room. So they're like, here's the songs you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've tried to build myself up as kind of like, I'm not just going to play the same rhythm on every single song. I'm going to add my own little thing. And it's been getting around a little bit more recently, and I've been getting some remote gigs to just play on people's stuff.
Yeah. That's always good. I mean, that's, a way to have a career in music for sure.
Yeah.
Is to be able to play, and especially, we'll talk, I guess, are you planning on staying in Nashville? Is that where you're going to live now, or what are your plans?
Yeah, so for the foreseeable future, it's going to be Nashville. I mean, can't really go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't really traveled the country or the world that much, so I don't really know where I'd like to live. Definitely don't want to come back to Charlotte.
That was one of my questions, was Charlotte an option, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, if I hit the lottery or whatever, or get a really good job offer, I'll come back down, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's where I grew up. I don't really need to go back down.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's honestly, and especially, like I said, if you want to do music and make a career of it, you're in a good place to do that. If you don't mind playing other people's music and maybe something you're not passionate about. But, I could do that as long as I had Van Huskins on the side, to keep me happy, personally happy.
Yeah.
It's a job like any other job. I mean, I go and I deliver pizza now. Somebody could definitely pay me to play bass on a country song, and I'd be like, hell yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love that because when I get paid, or even sometimes just doing it as a favor to play on someone's song, it's just like, it's just an opportunity for me to learn about what other people are doing and what's kind of like fresh in other people's minds. So, I mean, I've been doing a lot remotely recently because of all the stuff that's going on, but even beforehand, it's just, I went into college really hating country music, and I hate like current country music, but it's just been more tolerable because I force myself to look at it as a learning experience rather than a chore. Yeah. So
I listen to a lot of old country music, like classic country, but I don't care for the new stuff. And every now and then, like one of my managers at work will play it, and it's like, oh my God, I can't stand it. But because I just don't hear any of the old country in the new stuff. It just sounds to me like pop music with somebody with a redneck or a country accent. I shouldn't say redneck accent, because some rednecks have northern accents.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's all the same, and it's very it's draining, especially up here, because people like they label Nashville as like country, like central, but I mean, now it's just all the studios are getting torn down for apartments, and it's not. It's just people are just at home recording music. It's not that like collaborative in person anymore, at least in my experience.
So I remember like when you played the FUs, you were playing guitar at that time, and so you, like I said, you're multi-instrumentalist. While you were at school, did you learn any more instruments?
I kind of fiddled around with piano, not that much. It's just a lot of remembering things. I kind of like, I want to learn everything, but I kind of want to like not master, but I want to get as good as I can on guitar, bass, and drums.
Yeah.
Before really going out. Really want to learn saxophone, but it's just a weird little thing that one day I'll set some time and try that out.
Yeah. That's when I was in school, in middle school, and I tried out for the band. I wanted to play saxophone, but I ended up playing trombone and sucked at it for like a year and a half.
I did
until
too.
I quit.
I played trombone in middle school, and then I played percussion.
Yeah. I was pretty pissed off because I remember just thinking, you can't be in a rock band and play trombone. And my dad's like, oh, there are some rock bands that have trombones. I'm like, no, they're not. And then, like after I graduated high school, like all of a sudden ska was big again. It's like there's a trombone player in every band.
Of course.
Like maybe I should have stuck with it. But now I'm trying to, I don't really have the patience to learn piano, but I've got a MIDI keyboard now, and I picked up a full size Yamaha keyboard yesterday. Pretty cheap. So I'm going to start dabbling in keys a little bit. Might see if we can add to some Van Huskins songs down the road.
Yeah. I want to challenge myself and try and write some sort of ballad, not a rock like a cringy ballad, but something that has piano in it.
Yeah.
I got one off of Craigslist for free and sanded it down and painted it, and we had a big party to just help paint the piano, and everyone spray painted their handprint and then signed it.
Yeah.
So we kind of just have that hanging out, and I haven't touched that thing in so many months.
Yeah, I got the MIDI keyboard, and then I got the other keyboard, and I'm like, okay, now I've got them. Okay, now I've got to find time to actually play them. So
Yeah.
that's hard sometimes. So you're getting ready to release. Is it a full album? Is it an EP, a couple of singles, or?
Yeah, so it's going to be a full album. It's 11 songs.
Okay.
We don't have a release date yet. I think it's going to be sometime in October. But yeah, this is like, I wanted to prove to myself that I could do a full album, just like write and play everything.
Mm-hmm.
The main reason I kind of swept everything under the rug was because it was never, like the songwriting, I was not ready to be vulnerable and share it with the world.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you sad? Like, do you need help? Like, I hate that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So with this, it was just everything. A lot of songs are about I don't have a great relationship with my father, so a lot is about that.
Yeah.
Struggling with depression, and then I never thought I have a really close relationship with my mom, and I never felt I was good enough to write a song about her, and now I kind of feel like I am. So there's 2 songs about her. Just, it's all over the place, and it's very raw, and I kind of hope it helps someone feel comfort.
Yeah. And so you're releasing the single next Friday, which would, I guess, will be today if you're listening to the episode. Because I'm gonna release this. I'm gonna let you like have the release, and then like later in the day I'll post about the podcast online.
Yeah. Awesome.
So people can hear it here, but they can go to Bandcamp and download it. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be on every single platform.
Or well, I say Bandcamp, but I should ask you where it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be everywhere, like on Apple Music, on Spotify, and Google Play. I don't know anyone who does that, but. And then I'll upload it to Bandcamp and SoundCloud and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'll put a link to anything that you have already up, already on there.
Awesome.
So you've already said a couple of times that you kind of scrapped the old stuff in order to just make way for the new stuff. How would you feel that you've grown in the time, or how have the songs changed in that time?
Yeah. So I feel like kind of like the one thing that stayed consistent throughout my entire life of writing is that it's me. You can tell it's me playing it. Like, I'm not trying to sound like anyone else. I'm not trying to do this or have a riff like this. It's what comes out of my head, and it's just all of my influences just melding together.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's always been the constant thing. But the thing that's the biggest difference is just the maturity in songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of just gotten a hang and a grip of all the instruments. I know what to do instead of just playing the same 4 chords. It's like it's more riffy, more melodic, vocally, a lot of harmonies, like big stuff. So it's I hate the word, but it sounds professional instead of a hobby. It just sounds super professional. And I mean, we recorded it all in my house.
Yeah.
We set up a studio and we mixed it and produced it in my living room.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we did it at a full-fledged studio.
Oh yeah. And you can do that these days. It's pretty easy to do that if you know what you're doing. You can really make some great recordings with just whatever you've got,
Yeah.
So with the single that you're releasing, talk a little bit about that particular song.
Yeah, so this song called For the Love of God, it was the song that kind of sparked my desire to make more music kind of along the same line. I have this, not a theory, it's just more of an observance that every maybe 20 songs that I write, it just, for some reason, it's just like 10 times better than the previous 20 songs that I wrote.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting better and better and better, and that becomes the new like structure and the new standard. So this was the song, the main riff that I came up with. I'm like, fuck, this is awesome, and this is raw, and I'm going to like actually like just continue on this path. So after that song, it just inspired everything else. But it's not directly about anything specific. The riff itself, and when I first wrote it and demoed it, it was just so energetic and just it excited me so much.
Yeah.
I needed to scream about something, and at the time it was like right around when COVID hit and like all this stuff. I'm kind of like cutting some friends out, being around toxic people, cutting them out.
Yeah.
And I just felt just like if I screamed, no one would hear me. So that kind of like was awesome to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can be as loud as I want and no one's gonna hear me. And I kind of went off of that, and it was kind of just like being trapped, and then at the end just screaming my balls off.
Yeah. And I'll play that whole song at the end of the episode, but everybody should go and like you said, find it on whatever platform you listen to music on, add it to a playlist, like it, follow, all the good stuff. Because all that stuff really does help. And I know like right now, so it's a bad time for playing live. We can't play live.
Yeah.
I don't really know how things are in Tennessee. It's maybe a little different than here.
It's much worse.
I was gonna say, but if you're like me, regardless of how it is, I'm not really ready to play out live anyway. But
no.
What does the future kind of hold for you? I mean, what do you think you're going to do next? I mean, when we can play live again, are you going to have a band together and try to play? Do you have people that you're playing with now that can be the FUs?
I do. I've had a steady band for a few shows. My bassist moved back to North Carolina, but my new roommate wants to play bass. But I'm not really concerned with playing shows, at least for another year and a half. I kind of just want to focus on this release and kind of just reaching out to just different people and spreading the music and hopefully getting a following before going out again.
Yeah.
So I can feel like I have a leg up. But my friends and I just started a home studio at my house, and we've had a few clients already, so we're kind of gearing up to focus on that.
Okay.
Since we can't go out and play. We're just like, well, let's kind of shift and still do our own thing, but kind of do this together. So, yeah, we've had a few people come over and record. It sounds awesome. But I'm just writing and recording. I'm already recording another album.
Yeah.
And this album's been done. So, just still doing the grind. There's not much I can do.
Yeah. Usually finishing up an album and like doing all the mixing and everything and listening to it over and over again, all that does is inspire you to write more stuff. So just as soon as you're done with one, you're already you're halfway into the next one, really.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've already conceptualized the new one, and this one's been done for a few weeks and just hitting it hard already.
I could barely breathe. I can't
This is the first of many songs that are going to come out.
Are you going to release other ones as singles, or are you going to release the one single and then put it all out as an album later, or just...
Yeah, so we have another single called I'm Still Me that's coming out officially September 18th,
Okay.
day before my birthday.
Yeah.
And that one deals with one of my friends who came out as trans last year, and
Yeah.
they were my best friend. They were the bassist in the FUs for a long time.
Yeah.
So it was just about that and exploring that rawness and from their perspective. So yeah, that's coming out in September. Yeah, just if anyone that you know of likes the song, just send it to them.
Yeah.
Or that kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to get the word out.
Follow on Facebook and again on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever
Yeah.
you listen to music. So once we can play shows again, is there... I know you still have a Charlotte connection. You're from Charlotte. You're going to come back to Charlotte. You're going to bring the FUs to Charlotte to play some shows, right?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. None of the old stuff, all the new stuff. Just hit it in the paint and hit it as hard as we can, because I obviously want to play a show with you guys.
Yeah.
And anyone else that I've used to play with now that I'm actually stable and mature and I can drink with everyone now.
Yep.
So
Do a Trash Room FU's Van Huskin show. That'd be awesome as hell.
that would be a
I
dream.
would love that. So definitely, don't turn your back on us when you become famous. Come back and see us. Because I honestly, I say this in private. I think I probably said it on the podcast a couple of times, but the young talent that we have from this area, and I know you're not in Charlotte anymore, but you're a North Carolina musician, so that's why.
Yeah.
But the talent that we have in this area, it's the young kids. They're the ones. They're going to be our saviors. They're the ones that are going to make a difference. So, good luck to you guys, because us old people, we can't do it anymore. We're just going to have to play locally and like screw that, like big time stuff.
Yeah, I think it's because of our just at our fingertip access to every single song ever created. Essentially, that's what really inspired, like, just helped me. I'm just like, oh, I wonder what music sounded like in the 20s. Boom. Have it on YouTube instead of having to like find it at a record store or something.
Yeah, because it was hard growing up when I was younger. Before Napster, even, like, we could copy cassette tapes, but we basically had to buy everything we listened to or hear it on the radio.
Yeah, my mom was just like, oh man, even just the first iPod was mind blowing.
Yeah,
and I was just like kind of just casual, like, yeah, it's whatever. It could hold more.
The first iPod, man, the first 5 CD changer, I was like, holy shit. Wow, so much music right here.
Yeah, I used to have one of those portable CD players that would, like, if you jumped, it would skip. And it really pissed me off. So an iPod was the best.
I remember having one of those little portable CD players, and I used to try to wear it had like a strap on it. I wear it around my shoulder, and I'd try to cut grass while I was listening to it. It did not work at all. I went back to cassettes pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's this will sound bad, but I've never listened to a cassette before.
Oh wow.
Wouldn't know how to play it.
Cassettes are honestly they good cassettes sound way better than CDs ever sounded, especially on a good cassette player. But most people have not even listened to a cassette on good cassette. Even most people my age always listen to cassettes on cheap ass cassette players. And man, I've got a good one now, and the one I had when I was younger was not terrible, but it wasn't great. But I've got a really good one now, and even my old cassettes, they're like 30, 40 years old, sound awesome on it.
Wow.
So
yeah.
But I understand. I've got one right here that I was playing with a minute ago that's broken that I need to try to fix. I think maybe the cat's eating part of it now, so I might be missing more of it.
Right.
That's one reason why cassettes suck, is because they broke all the time.
Got it. Yeah. I really want to get into that, because there's a local Nashville. I don't even know if it's like a storefront or if it's just out of someone's house, but they're called banana tapes. They focus on releasing current music on tape.
I'll be honest. I mean, we didn't sell more cassettes than we did CDs, but they sold faster than our CDs did. And I think when we play live, the ones I have left will sell pretty quick as well. It's a niche product, and a lot of people will buy it and not ever even play it. They'll just use the download code and download it, or they'll just listen to it on Spotify. But apparently cassettes are a good way to sell physical media these days, because people see it and go, oh, that's different. I'll buy that for $5, Right. Whereas I see every band that comes through has got a $10 CD. So a lot of people skip those and go, oh, I'll buy this cassette, even if they never listen to it. This has been a Gabba Gabba Hunt Media Production.